Okay, we're back this time. For reals this time. So for those who are wondering what we're gonna do today, we are actually gonna go through all the Mega Man Battle Network games. For those who are wondering, yeah, that's the craziness we're doing now. For those who want to know what we're doing, oh, I don't think I did this right. Hold on. Oh crap! I hit the wrong button. Give me a second, chat. There we go. I think I fixed it now. Okay. So people wonder what we're doing today. So here's what we're going to do. I couldn't actually mentally figure out which game I was doing. I was going to initially do one game, but I did not change my mind at the last one. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through all the games. Like, we're not going to beat... Their games are, like, beaten and stuff like that. But we're going to discuss the difference between the games, and then once I get around like 5 and 6, like 4, 5, and 6, I'll probably linger around those. So I'll basically jump into the game, explain how the games play. We'll play a few matches in each game just so you can understand it, and then as we go up the games, it'll get more and more intense to me to explain what was the difference between this game and this game. So it's going to be kind of like a history lesson / tribute kind of thing. So I hope y'all enjoy. If you like what you're watching today, please like and subscribe. So it's about to go down. So it's gonna be a little bit crazy. So for those who are wondering, this is the one that started all Mega Man Battle Network. For those who don't know Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Battle Network is the game that created a genre within itself. This is basically a battle grid based game, which is crazy because nonchalantly, freaking Capcom created its own genre within itself. Which is crazy to think about on paper, right? It's kind of crazy when you look at it on paper. Let's see if we can find place to Jack. And so, this game takes place in the future where Land Hikari, which is son of Dr. Hikari, is a crazy master scientist who knows everything in regards to Battle Network. So, Mega Man basically plays on the internet and you play against other people. Which I'm trying to figure out where I can jack into. Give me a second. It's been a while since I played this game. So we can actually get into the mechanics of the game. There we go. Let's go into the classic jack in. And this is kind of the rough edges of the game. Yeah, this is early Mega Man Battle Network game. It kind of plays as if you played like games like Final Fantasy or anything. So you basically, how it works, you walk around. And then when a battle will trigger, and when the battle triggers, you end up in a match. So this is the base game. So the way it works, you pick these things called chips. Think of them like cards of a deck. So you go through playing cards within a deck, and as you go through them, you pick what items you need to do. Now Mega Man still has the initial Mega Buster. So here's kind of how the rules work for this kind of thing. So there's a letter which you can see on. As the K, there's a damage, which is the 30. The little square with the dot is the type or the element for it, and then the name of the chip. Basically how this works, here's the rules for this. So you can pick any chip you want to at any given point when you're in this menu. But the catch is the only way you can pick that chip of the same multiple types like I'm doing now, the letter has to match. That's the one gimmick. And the other way you can pick the same one if it's a corresponding to the exact same thing it is. So say for example I pick this and this, I can pick these two not only because the letter is the same, it's because the chip name is the same. And those are basically the rules for this. So here's a little bit of tip of how the game works. So there's a 9 grid on each side of players. You can't go past that grid unless you have a chip that makes you steal abilities from there. And by the way, if you have any questions as we're doing this, feel free to ask. And you can move left and right. This is why I'm going over, because a lot of people don't remember how this game works. So, and the cool thing about the Mega Man game, you still have your Buster. Your Buster's infinite, right? You can tap B, and this was a Game Boy Advance game for those who are wondering. And I killed him. I didn't mean to kill him. I forgot this character's overpowered. Hold on. Let's find another match so we get into it. And the A button is to use the chips though. Come on. Okay, here we go. So now we got this. So now we pick our chips, right? Here we go. So now we picked our chips. We got our 3 chips. So here's the thing. When I push the chips, it does the effect. That was spreader. Spreader hits all the squares. And this is the cool thing about you playing through the game. When you play through the game and the different bosses, you try to learn what more and more chips you get and everything. Now here's the catch about the game. If I hit the... So that gauge on the top is the naval custom... Is the custom gauge. The custom gauge basically makes it so you can look at... Think of it like Yu-Gi-Oh! You do your turn. After the gauge gets full, you can re-look at your hand again. And the chips you use won't show up there. Now here's the gimmick thing. Here's a crazy thing though. If I'm holding chips like I am currently, and I hit this, which is going to happen now, the moment, if I don't hit nothing, I keep the current chips I got. But if I pick, and I'll wait till the gauge go back up again, if I pick, hit it again, and pick new set of chips, the current chips I have will disappear. So say I pick Buster Sword, right? Look, now the spreader is gone. Now to give you what Buster Sword does, Buster Sword makes my gun not a gun anymore. It becomes a sword now. That's basically what happens. Now here's the other gimmick for this game. Now this is to this game specifically. This stayed in the game I'm about to show you until I think 3 is when they took it out. So there's a thing called add. Let me show you this. You hit add. So what add does, you notice there's black squares on the bottom of the screen. That means I can not get any chips, and I can sacrifice it. So look, now I have more options on the bottom of the screen. If I do this again, I'll get a 3rd option. So now I got more options I can pick at the bottom of the screen, which is kind of cool. This is kind of a little cool tidbit for the game. And this is the basis of the game. And this game still has the effect like any other rock, paper, scissors game. Fire beats ice, water beats fire, grass beats electric, and so forth and so forth and so forth. That's the rock, paper, scissors format of the game. But that's basically Mega Man Battle Network as a whole, for the most part. Go. You asked something? What are you talking about? I mean, I feel like Goat's trying to con me right now. Hold on, I'll let you know I'm streaming at the moment. Give me a second. But yeah, that's the tidbit to the game. That's the little basics of one. And this kind of plays out through all the different games as you go on through the games. This kind of plays out the similar. This. But let's finish this battle. One thing I gotta show you after this battle, though, I gotta show you this thing. There's another mechanic in the game that's cool, and this is another mechanic came throughout the game. There's a thing called Program Advance. So let me show you. Let me see if I can show you what this is. So here's your folder. Yeah, this is a folder. You're allowed to have 30 cards or chips in your deck. This one's pretty basic. So Program Advance, let me show you how this works. Let me see if we can get this up and running. Let me show you the infamous Program Advance. Hold on. G H. We'll do this. And I'll show you a quick program advance. I won't do all of them. But we'll see if we can get this one to work. So the program advance basically look like this. And this was a mechanic that was in NT Warrior also. Program advance basically means if you get a certain set of chips in a certain order, it makes like a super crazy variant of the chip. And you know when it happens, because when it happens, the screen will go black and it will say program advance. And it will do an upgraded version of the move. Now, in the early versions of the game, they were kind of like whack. They were kind of weird, per se. But as the games progressed, they got better and better. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to wait for the next one, then we're getting close to the program advance. Give me a second. Wait for it. Oh, that's right. When I lose. I gotta get another row again. I forgot. When you get the row for that one turn and then you lose it afterwards. I totally forgot about that. Mechanics, not even I forgot. I haven't played one in so long. Get another row. Okay, here we go. So here's our program advance for you. I think we got all the letters, right? Okay. So the way it works, so we're going to do the M Buster cannon, right? So K, L, M. So if you do this in the right order, so K, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I do K, L, M. This should work. So if we do K, L, and M, this will now be the program advance. So look, the screen went black now. Program advance. So now the moves fuse together for this one move. Now here's what happens for this scenario. Right now I unlocked the Zeta Cannon. I can spam the missiles as much as I want while that time is on there. Now in the newer games, they found out this was broken. So they kind of like backtrack a little bit. They were like, we're taking this off the game. And depending on how fast you beat the opponent or how you beat them based on your busting level, you get a chip to add to your library. But that's basically Battle Network 1. That's the basis of Battle Network 1. And there's a little bit of a system too where you can do your armors and stuff, your rapid charge. Attack means every time you shoot how much damage you do. Rapid means that as fast as I press the rapid fire the button, the buster shoots faster. Charge is your charge shot. Think of it as the gun buster from Mega Man X, and then you get levels and stuff throughout the game. So this is basically one. This is basically the bread and butter, what turned out to be the nuances of the other games. And here's all the chips that are in the game, so you can kind of see them for yourself. Like this game is basic, and this game was very busted. And some people might even say one was one of the most longest games. But for some reason, this game is what may take off the franchise, because it was cool, because this is a game. This is one of the few times Mega Man decided to do something different, and this is back then when people like to take risks like that and do bust thing. Oh, another cool thing about the games too, all the actual eight robot masters, they are in the game as different characters. So Fireman, he's in the game, but he looks different, and they're all redesigned over. Which the Mega Man Battle Network redesigns are probably my favorite, more or less, in my opinion. But let's get out 2 real quick. Now it's time for the next game that Now here's the next game. This is Mega Man Battle Network 2. This is once they realized this was a franchise, this is the next game. Mega Man Battle Network 2 is kind of crazy. You still now look, you still got some of the same moves from the last game, but this game is more nuanced now. Like now they got all these crazy different moves. The HUD looks a little bit more refinished and everything. And all that stuff. And this also introduces another thing in the game. The gut style. The gut style. So remember I told you there was a gut system in the game? So I'm going to show you how the gut system works. Let's take the train back so we can kind of see this nuance a little bit. Okay, let's see if we can go back to his other ones. Okay, let's go. Let's jack in here. And look, now the animation is a little bit different too. Look, now the HUDs look a little bit different and everything. Look, now the grid looks different. It's more refined and everything. And the ad system is still there. But now look what happened now. You can't just pick any chip you want to now. In the last game, you can kind of pick any chip you want to. It didn't matter. But in this game, it's a little bit different. Now with the guts gauge, here's something you know. So think of it like in Mega Man X, the different armors. Think of this as my new armor. So this is the gut style for the armor. So since I'm the grass type does sort of like wind moves. So in this scenario, look. Now my charge shot's not the same shot. It does this weird tornado thing now. Which is kind of cool. This is one of the little nuances to the new game. Like this was one of the most defining factors. And the way, and here's how the mechanic works too. Based on what you do throughout the game, determines what happens in the game. It's kind of crazy. And you get to see the hub style too, which is the style they're showing for the. And this is, I'm doing this as an Easter egg because they're just showing this at the end of the game. So this is hub style supposed to be Mega Man at full power. Hub style is a reference to Lan Hikari's brother. If I remember correctly in the story, Lan's brother actually died, and Mega Man is actually a reference, was built as his brother, almost like an Astro Boy little nuance there. He died for real in the game, so the father made him one of his great creations, hence him being Mega Man. Hub was, if I remember correctly, was the original name. So there's a little bit of a tidbit for you there. But that's basically the main difference of this game. And we'll show, and then hub style is supposed to be him at full power, so there's a little nuance with like different abilities and stuff like that. And he hits stronger. He starts out with a shield. Look, he has a full gauge down here. It's kind of crazy when you look at it on paper. It's kind of crazy. But that's basically the main difference of 2 though. For 2, like this is the guts, the style change is the bigger difference. The acceleration and graphics, the way the pixelation is more cleaned up in this game. And then now in this game, here's another cool thing. You can now see your program advances you have unlocked throughout the game. And there's a bunch of crazy program advances in the game. Like there's a whole list of them. Like it upgrades to like what, 32 in this game. So that's what makes the difference between 1 and 2. But with that being said though, now we're done with 2. Now we're gonna get the game that defined the franchise. The game that kind of made the game go in a different direction. Almost like in Pokemon. So now let's show that now. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's switch over. Return. Okay. Here we go, guys. We got 3 now. This is the game to define the franchise now. 3 was basically, this is the start of them doing the version games. Like, this is kind of wild. So look, Land looks different now. Look, the menu, look, now there's like email mode. Look, the emails look good. Look, more updated graphics in this. And now the style change has been taken to a new level now. So now you still have your heat gauge, your heat gust style and all that stuff. But here's the thing. Each game now has their own specific styles now. So now, this is blue. We're playing blue, right? So white has their own style, which was the shadow style, and the other one had his other style, which is called the ground style. And that was specific to the games. Also, another thing that's specific to the games, and let me show you this real quick, was the Giga Chips. So there's a thing in the game called Giga Chips. These are specific to each game. And this is what started that. So from this point forward, each game had their own specific things to each one, which is kind of cool to see. It's kind of cool to see this. There's a little bit of a nuance sort of thing when it comes to this. And now you have multiple folders to use now, including the extra folder, which you can't. They give you this extra folder, but you can't actually do anything with it. This is what I think they use for the little mini game stuff in the game. But let's play this. Let's play this out. And let's see how the new Jack can look in this game. Notice in this game they took out the animation between because they couldn't figure out what animation to settle on. It wasn't until the game after this is when they fixed this. And look, and they still have the same design, the same isometric design like in the other games too, which is kind of cool. And let's get into a battle so you can see how the HUD looks different. The HUD still looks the same. The add button is still there, but now we got a little bit of nuance now. For shadow style, you can turn invisible, and now we got the thing where we can summon people in the game now, which are called mega chips in the game. And here's another important thing about the game. 2. Now the chips are categorized into different stuff. At one point, the chips are all the same. Now they're standard chips. The standard chips are basically the regular chips you get in the game. They're kind of the nuanced chips in the game. Mega chips usually are the more stronger ones. You're only allowed to have 10 of them in your deck, which started in this game. And then your Giga chips, usually you can have one of these. These are usually the most busted ones in the game. This one usually means you're about to go all in. These are all out. These are one-time use per deck, and they're usually some of your most damaging moves in the game. Also, 3 came out with one thing of all the other games in the game. So for those who don't know, Bass was usually the one to beat guy in this game. But this is the one game where you find out, and this was like kind of like a little hidden take throughout all the games. So there's this character in the game. This is one of my favorite characters in the game called Serenade. And throughout the game, you always hear stories about Bass. Like Bass was the guy who doesn't need a operator. He can fight alone. He's the lone warrior, the lone wolf. He's better than everyone. This and this. But then later on, when you get to this game, you fight. You see Bass, and Bass goes, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm not the strongest. Which kind of throws you off because you're like, wait, Bass is supposed to be the end all be all. And Bass is like, no, there's one stronger than me, the king of the internet. And then you hear this and you're like, that's wild. Bass, the one who's been always the hardest person to beat in the game, is now considered one of the most weakest characters in the game. And this is one of the most mentally mind-boggling things you find out later in the game. Find out Bass is not the strongest person in the game. It's kind of crazy. Besides, like, the final boss. This was the game that introduced that. And throughout the game, every time you defeat an enemy, whether it's Japan Man or any of the other characters in the game, it told you this, like, yo, he's not the strongest. He's not the strongest. And you're sitting there back like, there's no way. Bass is Bass. Like, Bass is the strongest there is. There's no way there's somebody who can be stronger than him. And insert Serenade. Serenade was the best incarnate. That man was crazy. And in order to beat him, you have to unlock all the stars in the game, which includes beating the game, getting all the chips. You have to make it to the Holy Sanctuary, which the Holy Sanctuary has a test of trial where you refight all the bosses in the game, but they're harder versions of the bosses throughout the game. And it's kind of crazy to think about, because you're like, wait, this guy, like, yeah. You have to fight harder versions of all the bosses in the game. And it's freaking crazy. And those who are wondering why I'm going through the moves like this and skipping through, I'm trying to make a program advance happen. But the thing I need for it to happen has not showed up yet, so I'm waiting for it. Okay, there's fire, okay, so let me see. Fire, wait, is it? I think I'm doing this in the wrong order. I think it's electric, then water, then grass, Wait, no. Wait. Electric beats water. Water beats fire. Fire beats grass. I think that's the order. Wrong order! I screwed up, guys. After this match, I gotta look it up. I don't remember the program. It's been a while, guys. I don't remember the program events off the top of my head. I thought we were close. Let's run. We gotta look this up now. And this is the part of the reason why they put this in the game because it was like it should be elemental sword. Oh, it's fire. It starts out as fire. Fire. Water beats fire. Electric. I did it the other way around. Okay. We're gonna try to do it again so you can see the newer program advances that got put in this game versus the last game. And after this, we're gonna go straight to 4. Boom, 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 boom. And that's the other new difference is now you don't have to hit just add by itself. You can now click sacrifice your chips to add new ones in the deck now. And that's the new cool thing they added to the game. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I did not mean to use that. I screwed up twice, but you get the idea though. I screwed up twice. I didn't mean to hit it. I meant to not click on that. Wait, no, I clicked on the right one. I think I want to kill him too. Let's try this one last time, guys. This is me screwing up bad. Because I haven't played this game in a long time. Okay, we have 2 of them. Add. And we'll just wait in this lane. So that way we won't make the same mistake twice. And then after we show this program advance, I'll go to 3. I mean, go to 4. Because 4... We gotta talk about 4. We definitely gotta talk about 4. 4 was built different. Actually, we did not talk about one more thing in this game. We did not talk. Okay. Fire. What beats fire? Water. What beats water? Electricity. What beats electricity? Grass. There we go. And here's the program advance. And this program advance kind of cool. It's not going to hit because I'm not close enough. But just so you get an idea, he does every slash of each sword back to back in succession. And each sword takes like 100 damage. Really a high damaging move. But with that being said, we're going to the next game. The one to define the franchise. This one's kind of interesting. This is the game to define a franchise. It's Blue Moon. Blue flipping moon. For those who don't know what this game is, some people will say if this is actually, if not the highest selling Mega Man Battle Network game of all time. Blue Moon Red Sun. And now here's something you know is different. The HUD's different. They don't have the stars anymore. Now they explain you on the top of the screen what you've done. Soul complete. That's basically saying you have all the souls in the game. STD means you have all the standard chips. Mega mean having mega chips and giga chips and program advances, etc. This one with the slash means you beat base, and the one on the left, which is the picture of the blue moon, also the giga chip in the game. This also means that you beat the game initially. So, and the number on the bottom tells you how many times you beat the game. Now look, now Mega Man looks all more drawn out more. And I didn't show this in the last game. I'll show in this game. So now in this game, there's this game called the Neva Customization. And look, the animations are more crazy now. And don't forget, this is on the Game Boy Advance. The Neva Customization menu is by far one of the coolest things to come out the game. Basically, the way it looks is there's these series of puzzle pieces in the game. There's this one, and each one has its own shape. And you can see about it on the side, almost like Tetris pieces, if I do say so myself. And here's the thing: every time you put a color down, you notice there's a gauge at the top left-hand corner, which is a pink and white one. The way it works, for those who are new to the game. So you're only allowed to have 4 colors on the screen at once. So we'll try to get some other colors too. We'll get, so what we got? We got speed and we got charge. So we're gonna try and get the buster and whatever, something else max. And once I put these all on, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, charge. They're the same color. Let's do this one. And then let's do this one. Okay, we have yellow. Now watch what happens when I put this other color on. Let's see if we can find another weird color, like green or something. I don't know if we have a really small one or not. Oh, I can't get it to work. But basically, if you put an additional color on that doesn't belong, the game gets mad. And when you do this thing at the end, and let me do it real quick. When you do this run program thing, it will show an error on the screen. It won't say okay, it'll say error. And what happens when that error happens, during battle, your character will have a bug or said virus. And the bug or said virus can cripple your character, whether it makes him lose health for no reason, he be extra slow, he takes damage for no reason, poison, a bunch of weird random effects depending on which one happens. And that's the naval custom. And this is what defines the battles when you face other people, because this could determine how strong, like, even though everyone's the same character, this could determine how crazy your character gets. And look at the library now. Look. Now look, the Giga Chips. Now this is when the game started to become different. So see this secret here where it says these are secret moves? These are moves that are only on the other game. What's up? Oh, I'm not great. The Jank is here. How's it going, man? So now what they started in 4, now they made it so, look, since we're going to do this whole Pokemon version things, just like the Pokemon, there's only certain chips in this game that's not in the other game. So all these secret ones you see are only in Red Sun, not Blue Moon. And that's the thing. Now let me show you the biggest change in this game since the last game. Let me show you the thing called the Soul. So let's get in a match so we can see this go down. Look, now the panels are way more upgraded. Look, the pixel art's different and everything. So you notice there's a thing on the side called Unite. So in this game, Land as he fought. So this game is kind of interesting. This is like the tournament arc of Mega Man Battle Network games. So this whole game is based on like a giant tournament. Mega Man's trying to become the best net battler and face these other people in tournaments. And along the way, as he's doing it, he befriends a lot of people throughout the tournament that respects him as a player and everything like that. So what happens and this is like one of those scenarios with the power of friendship type scenario where, oh yeah, we're all working together, everything's going good, so we're doing this. So when it happens, as he befriends more people in the game, he gets these souls in the game, and each soul is specific to the game. Blue Moon have their own specific souls, and Red Sun have their own specific souls. And don't forget, this is considered the highest selling Mega Man Battle Network game of all time, which is crazy. This is what defined the game. This had such crazy numbers, it was unheard of. So for example, if I hit blue, so here's how it goes. You pick the element of that soul you have. So in this case, I have Aquaman soul. So I pick bubble and I hit Unite. It sacrifices the chip and watch what happens next. Watch what happens. Now I fuse with basically Aquaman, or in some people may case Bubble Man. So during this scenario, look, my Buster changes now. And I get all the properties of if I was... And I don't know if you saw the explanation point. That's something else new to the game. That's letting people know he's weak against me. And I also get the properties of water with that. And also with that being said, now that I have water, it powers up all my water-based moves too. Which is kind of cool. And I don't know what else we have in here. This is a little nuance for you. And if you like what you're watching, then please like and sub. It doesn't matter if I lost. I just want to kind of let you see what it goes. But now, for you Proto Man fans, I gotta show this. This is one of the coolest things that made me buy Blue Moon. I own Blue Moon and Red Sun, but this specifically will make me buy Blue Moon. And let me make sure I have it in here first. I do not. Let's fix this. I think it's in this one. I don't see it. Give me 1 second, chat. Let's edit this out real quick. Let's do some. Give me 1 second. So what we're doing, we're trying to get the elements of what we need so we can do the other crazy mess in the game. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Just so you can see what all the different style changes, or the unites changes in this game. I think there was electricity in this one, so we'll do this. We're kind of guessing because I don't remember off the top of my head. I know wind is in the other game. Was Woodman? I think it was Woodman, but let's see. And by the way, if you have any questions, let me know. I think you could turn into roll in this game too. I think my game turns into roll. I just don't remember. We need swords though. This is a really... Oh, I know Number Man was in here. I definitely remember turning into Number Man in this game if I'm correct. I could be wrong. It's been a while. Like I said, it's been a while since I played. We're just changing so we can get these other ones. Yes, the sword. And another cool thing about this game, there are still some program advances that translate from the older games into this game. Like the long sword, wide sword, sharp sword, wide sword, long sword still stays in the game throughout the game. It's kind of like a classic in the game, and is the reference to the show, the Mega Man NT War, for those who don't know. Let's get some more stuff. So now we got our deck. Now watch. Like I gotta show this if we get this to go. I gotta show this. There we go. Did we get a sword in the beginning? Oh, we got a sword. Let me show this. For you Proto Man fans up there, this was the game you could turn into Proto Man. And the design for Proto Man is sick. You get a cool sword, and this is one of the most busted unions you get in the game. And the sad thing is you don't get this till like the end of the game too, which I guess they say the best for last, right? Because Chad was like considered like the best of the best. Like his name was Chad. So with this one, you had a couple of abilities. You had the sword. If you hit the B button and back, you can block an attack. So he had a parry. And if you hold the sword out and charge it, it does this. Wait for it. Oh, you missed it. But he did a forward step and then did the slash afterwards. Now here's the gimmick about this game though. Now here's the downside about this game. With them doing all this crazy stuff in the game, there was a downside to it. And the downside was you could only stay in a Yusion form for only 3 turns. So you gotta kind of know what to do. And here's the crazy thing: if you're playing online too, and you'll notice that for those who get the Legacy Collection that got announced the date today, you'll notice that what will happen is when you do all that, you retain the weakness of the two, and the games are weaknesses to each other. So even though I have water on my end, he has fire on his end. But I have grass, but he has electric on his end. See how it goes hand in hand? Like flip-flop. Now there are some different stuff in the game that are kind of busted. And I'll show this right off the gate because this is by far, in my opinion, was the most busted Yusion in the game. I don't care what no one says. This was by far the most busted one. And I can't go without showing it. Like this was like straight up wild. Just straight wild. Oh, I gotta fix this. Let me introduce you to Searchman. So to give you some insight who Searchman was, Searchman is like this military guy who had like the power to like, he was like a sniper. He was like a militarily grade sniper. So let me show this off. So let's get Delta Ray Edge. I think. Oh, Searchman was considered invisible in this game. Interesting. I thought it was considered like. Honestly, thought Searchman was considered targeting, but the targeting thing I don't think happened to add the new elements till the newer game, if I'm correct. And that's probably why I can't think of it off the top of my head. I think there's groundbreaking ones too that are important, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, this is wind. That's what we need. We need wind. This is actually kind of important because the wind. This is the one, the second most busted characters in the game, which is Airman. And by the way, this is my favorite design for Airman. Airman looks super sick in this game. Okay, let's see if we can get. Let me see if we can get this to happen real quick. Cause I gotta show. If I don't show you nothing here, I definitely gotta show you Searchman. Like Searchman is like, man, you don't even know. You don't even flipping know how crazy Searchman is. Let's see if we can get it. We got Electric Man though, so I can show this one off. Oh, Searchman's right there. Hold on, we can show Searchman now. Hold on, forget that. Searchman's right here. Let me show you why Searchman's so busted. He had 2 abilities that made him busted. So those who trying to find out the tier list for this game, Searchman was definitely about that tier list life. Searchman, when he does a charge shot, he can auto lock to any character. Now the downside to this, when he auto locks it, he can't move when he does this. So that's the evening out part. But here's the busted thing. So say for example you don't like your deck, right? Watch this. Shuffle. He had a mulligan card in this. And here's the crazier thing. If you can pick your moves, then mulligan, and then pick your moves again, and then mulligan again. And you can do this up to 3 times per round. Now, to be fair, you can only stay in this mode for 3 turns. So if you got a person kind of rush the turns, you can force them out of this. But in a scenario like this, he was the Program Advance King. That's how busted he was. He was literally the Program Advance King. Like, I can't even stress this how busty he was as a character. Like, I just had to make sure I showed you that because it's wild. And we get to do one of my favorite moves again. Look, shuffle, fix, shuffle. Like, this is crazy. Now I can do the coolest move in the game. Delta Ray Edge. Oh, he didn't have enough health. So for those who don't know what Delta Ray Edge is, Delta Ray Edge in the game was and I died on purpose, was Proto Man's final attack in the game. So basically he comes in front of you, he slashes one, slashes over here, and slashes over here in a triangle shape, and he disappears on the other side and brings the sword like that and makes a triangle, since Delta Ray means triangle in math and stuff. But that's Megaman Battle Network 4. This is basically the start of the game going. Keeping this is like the Tekken 3 of Megaman Battle Network games for those who play fighting games. Like, this what made the standard for the next upcoming games like 5 and 6. So that's 4 for you. Let's play 5. Now 5, this one's kind of crazy. 5 introduced a new mechanic in the game, and I'll get to it when I get to 5. We'll do Team Proto Man this time in this game. I probably should have did Team Okay, here we go. Let's show this off a bit. This is Team Pro Man. Okay. Let's show this off a little bit. So Team Pro Man had a little interesting thing going on. You can challenge all your. So this was the team-based game. So after the WWW and the gospel was a huge thing in this game. Megaman formed a team with and Proto Man and Colonel formed 2 separate teams to fight off against evil. So as they fought different people joined the team to help fight them off in the game. Megaman was one of them, and he was the other. But let's see if we can get something going real quick. But one of the biggest differences in this game, besides the new chips, the new story and everything, and the updated graphics and stuff, was there was a thing called Dark Style in the game. So, and by the way, Searchman is still in this game. But if you look at it differently now it's not called invisible, it's called targeting in the game. They added actually a new element in the game because they didn't want to confuse invisible with targeting. Because invisible is actually a separate thing, and in blue, I think it's in Blue Moon, and in the other game, Colonel, you get Shadow Man, which is a ninja. So, and you know I love my ninjas. So Searchman's back. The animation is different now. So now here's the automatic shot still. crazy. And there's bug frags and stuff too. Let me see if I make sure I have my dark chips in here. I do have the dark chips in here. So that I'll be able to show this off. So there's another mechanic in the game too. If you use the dark chips without going into the mode, you take life off your health and stuff. Okay, let me show this now. So there's this thing called Chaos Fusion. So the last game had the Unite mechanic, right? You confused with the different characters in the game. The Dark Fusion is Chaos Fusion is a little bit different. So if you hit the person, so you remember Proto Man, it gave us regular Proto Man. But when I hit Unite this time, watch what happens to Proto Man. Watch this. So it makes Proto Man and the essence of Dark Mega Man comes into him. So think of it. I guess the best way to think of this. Think of Ichigo if he went Bankai, but he went the Vasar form. His inner hollow became personified. This is the same equivalent for you anime fans out there. This is that same equivalent. Now here's another thing that happens too. So now you can abuse the move any number of times you want to. But here's the catch though. See how it goes green and purple? If you time it wrong, this is what happens. So Dark Mega Man. So now you learn you can't control your dark power policy and you screwed up. Now Dark Mega Man shows up on the other side of the screen. And he goes in. And he stays like this to the end of the match. So while the match is going, Dark Mega Man will go crazy against you. This is a really crazy mechanic in the game. And I think this is kind of cool. Because it forces you to learn time in the game. And you can't just spam the moves now. That's the cool thing about this. Now, I don't know what happened. And then if you mess up again, it just resets the timer for him again. That's the biggest difference in mechanics in this game. And there's another thing I'm going to show you. I don't know if I can get to it. Off the gate. Let me see if I can get to it. There's this thing called Liberation Missions. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to show up. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the Liberation Missions. I don't know if we're going to get it to show up or not. Oh, that's a boss, but we're not going to fight him. We're not going to fight him. We're trying to get the Liberation Mission to show up. Oh, here's the panels for it. See the way you see how these panels look way different than the other ones? There's a reason why the panels look like that. I want to show you. But I need this to go. Hold on. And this was by far maybe one of the coolest mechanics, but also one of the most aggravating ones too. I gotta get to the beginning, I think, for it to show. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna talk to this guy. I store and recreate the battles fought before. Would you like to relive the battle? Okay. Let me introduce you to Liberation Missions. Now, this is wild. So, Liberation, this is the part where they decided, let's throw a tactics element to Mega Man Battle Network. This is kind of crazy. So, and as you get later in the game, you get more and more people on your team. So, you can look at the panel and see there's different crazy mess going on in the game. So, let me explain you how this works. So, every single time, each player can have a turn for their characters. And depending on what characters on your team, each character have abilities where they can hit like 2 or 3 squares, they can negate squares, or they can give extra damage, things of that nature. So the purple square is where you can walk between, right? And in this game, you can walk as much as you want like this, but it won't start a battle. But watch this. If I talk to this, see longsword. Longsword means I can hit up to 2 panels. But here's the other crazy thing that happens too. This is the one scenario, if you're in the middle of a move and you're facing the other way, watch what happens here. Watch this. You notice how you're in the middle? You can actually fight on both sides. So you can flip back and forth between fighting each other. Which is a crazy mechanic, but it's so cool. So what difference happens now, you switch the top buttons to each side where you're trying to fight. Which can make for some cool things. Now here's the other crazy thing about this Liberation Mission. You only have a certain amount of time. You only have a certain amount of time before before the match ends. I missed. If I don't beat him within 3 turns, the match is over. And what ends up happening, if I'm correct, it will reset and consider a loss for you. So now that I beat the square, now that square is open. And this happens as you go higher and higher and up. See, now Proman goes. Now I gotta beat this square. And I don't know if he saw the ability. His was wide sword, so he could hit in a horizontal fashion. And depending on how you're facing the character and stuff, you gain the weakness of all that too. And each of the power people have their own secret move too. You can use too. We got the step sword. Boom! There's step sword for you. And you keep doing this, just so you know, until you get to the boss. And as you're doing, the boss makes his turn. So you can move his pieces too to get to you. Now let's fight the boss, see what happens differently. Let's see what happens differently now. Now we fight a mini boss. Usually he hits like a truck and also is a pain in my backside, more or less. And if you beat a boss like this, you get extra bonuses and stuff like that. Let's do the wide sword. So now he uses ability. So now he's attacking all 3 squares. Now, if I win this, and here's the cool thing: if I win this, I'll be able to destroy all 3 of the squares too. And the cool thing, he still retains his abilities for as if he wasn't the character too. That's the other cool thing. And now gray spots mean I get an extra item. So what you saw there, the order points, let me explain this to you. So as you know, you saw me using an ability. In order to use your ability during the liberation missions, you have to use order points to use them. So say for example, in my case, I want to do I can't do the longsword here. But if I want to do longsword here, I will use points for that longsword to use it. So this is kind of like the mental thing you have to think about when you're doing these different modes and stuff. Now look what's going to happen here now. I mean, I'm going to have to deal with that and that at the same time now. This is going to get kind of crazy now. When you get these little black holes in the ground, it can get a little crazy. Luckily, I was already prepared for it. And it destroyed him too, because he was part of the sword too. So now I can go around here. And you keep going and going until you fight the boss. But that's the biggest difference between 5 in this game. The different assortment of characters, a more balanced system, and now them utilizing the Fusion mess with the Chaos Fusion. And you still got your Neva customization, which they kept in the game and all that stuff too. That's still a thing. And here's the cool thing too. If you can beat the boss at a certain amount of turns, you unlock extra stuff based on what turn you beat the boss at. And that's what this is like. And it's fun facts. This is the only Mega Man Battle Network game I actually had to get a manual for. Because I had to figure out how many turns I had to beat each character. It's kind of wild. And like, he's still here. He's still have Neva customization. And look, you can see the emblems of all the 6 people you can transform into too. And you still have this too. So this part still hasn't changed at all. Same formula, different game, more added abilities. But now, it's time. So we went through 1 through 5. Now we're at the coup de grace, what some people might consider one of the best Mega Man games of all time. Mega Man Battle Network 6. This is literally what people might say the tribute game to end all tribute games. And I'll explain to you why this is considered a tribute game in my opinion. They brought back almost a questionable of all the different mechanics. Everything's all polished out. This is a more than one of the few balanced games. Searchman's gone, so the Searchman busting-ness is not in this game either. But you have a new mechanic in this game too. One of the newer things that happens in this game now is, so you remember how you can transform into the characters by uniting? You notice there's no button there for unite? Here's what happens differently in this game. Now, you don't need to use a chip at all to transform. So now I can just hit a button. Unfortunately, Pro Man doesn't show back up in this game. Now I can just hit a button and just do it. Now here's the cool thing about this. When you do this in this game, you can stay in the mode as long as you want. I repeat, you can stay in the mode as long as you want. The only way you can get out of the mode is if you get kicked out the mode. And it's like, say for example, someone hits me with my weakness, I'll be knocked out. Almost think of it as if a Superman gets hit, not Superman, a Super Saiyan gets hit hard enough, he gets knocked back his normal state. This is that same concept here, same exact concept. But they also add a new formula in there, and this is kind of like a refresher to like the dark Mega Man sort of nonsense. So this is a thing called Beast Style. This is like your Super Saiyan form in the game, and let me show it to you real quick. Now this form, your Mega Buster change, in any move you have can be charged into like this crazy slide type. Look at that, it looks sick, right? But I also can charge my moves like this and turn this like following shot too, which is kind of cool. But also, here's another thing that happens. Now, this form you can only stay in for 3 turns to remind you. Now, you remember the slash mode I did? I could turn slash while I'm in this. So now I got B-style slash mode, which means my moves change, he's stronger, and he's nothing to mess with now. Now, here's the crazy thing. There's one last mechanic in the game, and this is kind of like the dark Mega Man pseudo mechanic I want to show you here. So there's this mechanic in the game called the Beast Over. So we gotta have this run out first before I can show you this, because this is kind of wild. So if I do this, so look, notice I have only 1 turn left, and this is the number of turns you have until then. Because the reason why the turn goes don't come back until you complete each battle. Don't use it. So now this is my final turn, right? Look at the image on the top right hand corner. See how it looks different now? This is the Beast Over. During this mode, Mega Man goes into Berserk State, and this is equivalent like Super Saiyan 4. Watch this. Look at the lightning. Now he's consumed by the Beast. And the Beast will use his moves however it feels like if sees fit. You can force it to push A, but during this mode, he's a machine. He does not care about anything. And he stays in this mode until the naval cuts thing comes out. Once the naval cuts thing comes out, it comes out and you go back to normal. And during this moment where you go back to normal, your health goes dramatically down, goes down. This is like an end-all emergency scenario. But the reason why I said this is the tribute game, let me explain this to you. And this is the last thing that changed. So people have certain program advances and likes from different games. So this game actually grabs program advances from different games. So if you look right here, scroll about, look. Voodoo. This is the Mega Man Battle Network Gospel Base Sword program advance. Battle Network 3, Battle Network 4, Battle Network 5. They got one from each game, a program advance, which is cool. But I'm going to show you, which is by far one of my favorite program advances, which is from 3. This is basically like the how you say? This is like the program advances, the in all program advances. And this program advance, if I'm correctly, takes 500 damage. One of the coolest program advances in the game it was called Ultimate Cross, but in this game they changed it due to purposes, and stuff. So, but I want to see if we can get this to work though, because I kind of want y'all to see this program advance go down. And look, and in this state too, Mega Man's tired because I went beast out. It was overly exhausted when I did it. We're going to try to see if we can get this program advance to work. Now, if we get this program advance to work, guys, y'all going to love it. Y'all going to freaking love it. Like I said, this is like literally the coolest program advance in the game, entire game, if we can get it to work. And I'm going to keep stalling out until we get the program advance to work. Let me see if we can get it to work. We're going to just keep stalling out here. Okay, now we can play the wing game. What's up, opening? Right now we're on Mega Man Battle Network 6. So what you don't know, I was going through all the different games, explaining what's the differences between each game. That's what I've been doing right now. So this has been like a little bit since we had the Mega Man Battle Network stream thing happen, and then now we have the games. I figured I'd show you how the games are played and how they work and everything, just so you can get a little tidbit for when you decide to get the Mega Man Battle Network game. You can see what makes these games so great. And of course, I will be getting the Mega Man Battle Network day 1. Oh, we're missing one more, guys. We're getting close. We're missing one more. Oh, we got it. So now we gotta do. This is by far the best program advance in the game. Fire would be fire. Aqua would be aqua. Electricity would be that is grass. Master Cross. Watch this mess. It's not gonna do the full animation because somebody's not in the middle, but you get to see part of it. Watch this. He transforms into all the characters and then fuses all together for a giant explosion. Now it looks mediocre to you, but back in the day, and this is on the Game Boy Advance, this is considered like one of the coolest things. If you landed this move on somebody doing ranked or online, this would have pissed a lot of people off. Everybody like, yo, he did it, and then you got like mad respect for it. This is like one of those program advances. But this is why this is called a trivia game. This is basic Mega Man Battle Network 6. You gotta love this game. You gotta love it. This is one of those games. It's one of those games where you can just go in, go crazy, and people be like, oh, da-da-da, this is this. It's one of those games. Like, it's actually kind of crazy when you look at it on paper. But that's basically all the Mega Man Battle Network games. You got to see how the game progressed throughout the ages, and how the game mechanic go. You got to see what was added in every additional game leading up to this point. I hope you enjoyed this little tribute video of basically how the game works and what was the difference between the different games. Because with now that we have an official release date for all the Mega Man Battle Network games, this is cool. We should be streaming another Mega Man Battle. Not Mega Man Battle. We should be streaming another Mega Man related game tomorrow. I think we're doing a fan game or something. I can't tell you. It's a surprise. So far, what have we done so far? So yesterday we built an entire Mega Man model kit. Today we did Battle Network. We streamed a reaction to Battle Network, and then we did a whole Battle Network playthrough, basically explaining how all the games work and everything. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for liking and subscribing, guys. This has been cool. I'll say this: when the game comes out, I will actually be doing a whole deep dive and play the game from start to finish. So y'all can actually see the story of the game, the nuances and all that stuff. Because this is not one of my favorite franchises in the series. That's why I can talk so much about it and drool about it. And then maybe we can get into actually playing each other online. Because there is an actual thing in here where we can play each other online. But there's a way about it. But if y'all want to know more about that, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you soon. Y'all stay awesome. Y'all stay janky. Peace.